Here's something for you. We talked just a few minutes ago about Benfica. They, of course, have won the Portuguese title 32 times. Two other clubs have tended to share all of the titles with them. Porto, 29 times winner, and Sporting Lisbon, declining these days, but 22 times winner. Behind all of these, two other clubs only have won the title. Boavista have won it once, and Belenenses have won it 4 times. In recent times, they've fallen on Belenenses on a little bit of hard times. Financial irregularities or lack of money meant they were relegated, but they're doing very well this season. And one of the reasons they're doing so well is that they've got an Englishman in goal. It's delightful for us then to be joined by Belenenses goalkeeper Matt Jones. Hello, Matt.
Hey, how you doing?
Really good. Thanks for joining us. Let's just say that it's been a long old road for you from the West Midlands or from the Midlands to Belenenses. Tell us what's happened.
Yeah, like you say, it's not been the most conventional route that a player goes through. But basically, I played for West Brom. I came through the ranks at West Brom, and then I reached 19. And basically, I didn't get offered a contract, as a lot of players don't these days.
No, heartbreaking for you, I'm sure, but you haven't laid down.
It was. At the time, it was a bit of a gutter, but basically, I was at that stage where I could either try and look somewhere else in England or try another option, and I got a call from a university in America who basically offered me a full scholarship and the chance to play and study at the same time, so that's where I went, and I had 4 good years over there.
I'm fascinated by that, Matt. How much studying did you actually do?
Probably not as much as I probably should have done, but
my kind of student.
When I hear about these athletic scholarships to American colleges, I could be wrong, and I presume you don't do any studying at all. You just play sport.
No, you have like a certain minimum that you have to achieve in order to be able to play. So your grades must be above a certain level.
What subject, Matt?
I did my degree in business and marketing.
Okay.
No, smarty.
No, very good.
This is what we don't want.
Yeah, I don't know what I'd ever do with it, but that's what I took.
Well, I've got an English degree and I work for the Daily Mirror, you know. I mean, there you go.
Hey, I don't know what you're laughing about. Matt, but even so, you're a successful student in the United States. It's still quite a leap into professional football in Portugal. What happened?
Basically, my coach in America was Portuguese, and he had a few contacts over here in Portugal, and basically spoke to his contacts, and they invited me over. And I came over, had a trial with the club, and basically they offered me a 2-year deal after a few days of training with them. So it was quite a smooth transition, really.
What's happened since?
And then since I've been over here now. This is my 4th year that I've been over here. So I played at Santa Clara, which is a team from the Azores, which are the Portuguese islands. Mm-hmm. And then last year I was another Portuguese island in Madeira. And then this year I actually came over to the continent, and I'm in Lisbon now playing for Belenenses. So I've been all over Portugal, really.
This sounds a stupid question, I'm sure, but do you shout in English or in Portuguese?
No, in Portuguese, no.
Right.
Let me ask you
was that hard, though, to learn the commands, the things that you do were second nature as a goalkeeper?
It was at the start, maybe for the first few months, but then once I picked it up, I actually find now, obviously we've got a few international players on the team, and they don't speak Portuguese yet, so I have to speak to them in English. And I actually find it harder now to speak to them in English than I do in Portuguese, because I have to double check myself all the time, and it's a bit of a confusing one.
I take it you're enjoying this season. I say Belenenses got relegated after they had some financial difficulties. I think they're one of the traditional powers in Portuguese football. Mm-hmm. I'm looking at the League 2, the current standings. You find yourself 18 points clear at the top of the table. I don't suppose you've got your shorts dirty, have you, this season?
Yeah, it looks good for me at the moment, but it makes it look like I'm doing a good job. But yeah, we're flying at the moment. It wasn't really expected. It's a very new team that we've put together this year, and the club's just been taken over by new owners, so it seems like the club's turned a corner, and the results on the pitch have showed the stability that we've got off the pitch as well.
What sort of crowds do you get, and also what sort of attention do you get? Obviously, a lot of the attention is going to be on Benfica. And Sporting, and in Lisbon, in Benfica and Sporting. Yeah. So, what sort of attention media shows in there's the 3 Portuguese sports papers. How much show do you get, and what sort of crowds do you get?
The crowd basically varies depending on who you're playing. If you play just a regular league game against a team from, say, Porto, we're probably getting around 2,000 to 3,000 fans. But if we play against a Benfica, then we'll fill the stadium, which is 25,000.
Wow.
So it varies a lot. But Belenenses, because it was such a historically a big club, it gets a lot of attention from the media, and especially now, the club seems to be in a period of change at the moment with the new owners coming in. So it's getting a lot of press attention at the moment, and it's one of them clubs it's kind of everybody's favourite second team, which I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing, but everybody seems to have a little soft spot for Belenenses. But obviously, like you said, in Lisbon it's a little bit difficult because you've got the big power teams of Benfica and Sporting.
It's also a fantastic city to live in, isn't it?
I was going to say, tell us about life in Portugal and in Lisbon in particular.
It's great. I love it over here. I found it very easy to adapt to when I came over. Obviously, the only one major difference was the language, which I picked up after maybe a year. So for that part of it, it's not too different from England. The only the lifestyle's a lot more relaxed, though, than I'd say than what I was used to in America and in England. The Portuguese are a very laid-back population. They don't like to do anything that they don't have to. So everything that you want.
There.
Did you read, Matt, the Robert Enke book? Because one of the big chaps in that was his time at Benfica and how difficult that was and the problems he had. And I wonder if you've seen any. Obviously, he had other issues to deal with, but if you felt and seen some of the things that he had and recognised that some of the problems that anyone coming out of their normal culture can feel almost dislocated and struggling. You know, maybe you were on your own with only your wife and family and no friends. Is that one of the things that you've had to come to terms with as well?
It is a little bit. When I first came over to Portugal, I came over on my own. My girlfriend's American, and she didn't come straight over with me because she was working and such. So when I came over, it was a little bit strange. It was a little bit lonely at times, but I can understand from, say, Robert Enke's position, which was even more because he's gone straight into Benfica, which is it's hard to say from the outside, but it's such a huge club and they have such a dedicated fan base that it's getting media attention constantly 24 hours a day, so you make a slight mistake and the media are all over you. So Matt, the pressure from that point is incredible.
Matt, talk to me. I mean, I was interested that you played from Madeira, or on Madeira, because obviously that's the home island of Cristiano Ronaldo. You grew up in England with the media coverage of football dominated by David Beckham. I happen to know someone who's been to Madeira recently, and they say he's literally his face is in every single shop window. But tell us about his standing in Portugal in general. I mean, clearly he's the most famous Portuguese on earth. And I take
Jose would take issue with that.
Well, I'll repeat it. He is clearly the most famous Portuguese on earth. I take it he has Beckham-like status in that country, yeah?
Oh, without a doubt, the guy's king over here, and like you just said, him and Mourinho, the two of them, they basically have the keys to the kingdom. They're adored by everybody over here, and they're constant. Even though they're both they're both in Spain at the moment. Every single day, they're in all of the papers. It doesn't matter what has happened. It could be the tiniest little thing that happened, and the media are all over it. And basically, they're like gods over here.
And how is Villas-Boas looked at the moment? Obviously, he's turned things around over in England, and he was a hero when he left Porto. Has there been interest in the way his career has sort of upped and down or down and up really over the last 18 months?
Definitely, everybody's all the media are all behind him. Basically, they all want him to succeed because they see him as one of them. He was a guy that came from a small club and he's just worked his way up and achieved success so quickly. The Portuguese obviously appreciate what he did at Porto, and they want him to succeed wherever he is. Will it be Tottenham now, or whether it was at Chelsea when he was at Chelsea?
And Matt, unless there's something a very unlikely occurrence like your hands dropping off, it looks like Belenenses are well on their way back into the top level of Portuguese football. But I know from the tiny bit of research I've done for this that you're actually a supporter of Port Vale Football Club. And it's not often we can say this, but Port Vale are really rocking along as well, aren't they?
I know, it's a bit of a surprise, really. We're not used to all the success, so But yeah, Vale are doing incredibly well at the moment. It was another one where, obviously with the problems that they've had off the field financially as well, it seems like they're turning the corner as well, which is great for Vale and it's great for Stoke as a city, because obviously it pushes the two clubs a little bit closer together.
And would you like, Matt, because my assistant producer, who I know you've spoken to today, setting this up, did he tell you he's a Stoke fan? Would you like to say a few negative words about Stoke City?
He did. I was speaking to him before, and he sounded like a nice guy on the phone, and then he told me he was a Stoke fan.
That's a complete smokescreen, I can assure you.
Yeah, kind of changed my opinion on him a little bit.
Well, listen, I'd say with a fair wind and a following wind, you should be back in the top level of Portuguese football. What, having had that horrible blow to your career when you were let go at West Bromwich Albion, what are you hoping for now? Do you want to carry on and just hope for a long and successful career in Portugal? Would you like to come back to England someday to play?
To be honest, I've always been one of them players that just takes it every day as it comes. Whatever comes. I've never been one to plan, because in football you can't really plan anything because you never know what's going to happen. So whether it be England or whether it be Portugal, at the moment it's Portugal. I'm happy here. I've got another year left on my contract after this year, and then after that we'll go from there. So whether it be here in Portugal or England or another European country, then we'll just take as it comes.
Matt, it's been great to talk to you. Best of luck with the rest of the season. Thanks for joining us here on TalkSport.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Yeah, Matt Jones there, as I say, goalkeeper for Belenenses, who are currently 18 points clear at the top of the second division in Portugal. I dare say promotion by Easter for them. Thanks to Matt for joining us. We're back in just a few seconds. You're listening to Martin Lipton and me, Danny Kelly, here on Kickoff.